fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I'm going to feature a build of mine, and this is a very old build of mine, goes way back, and this is a 32 Ford Phaeton. And as you see, I've actually got a sealed kit here of the exact same kit, same vintage, everything that I built. Of course, this is what I had built out of it. And other than the wheels, it's my original build, but I'll get more into that. But when it comes to this, in the late 80s, and you can really see that all over the box art here, late 80s influence and the deer to be different. And I was reading a lot of hot rod magazines, and I was really into customs and hot rods, and even like lowriders and mini trucks. And there was a lot of mini trucks in my area, and I really loved those. And street rods, so I kind of really liked all of those custom things and the things that were going on then, and the somewhat wild paint jobs that you saw back then, and even, you know, like the scallops you saw, and the water running paint jobs. You ever seen one of those with the drips of water on the side? Kind of crazy, you know, stripes like this, and the ZZ Top car. Really liked all those, and I built like 5 or 6 street rods. Most of them didn't survive. This one actually survived. I don't know how, compared to some of it. It was falling apart. I did glue some of it back together, and that's one of the reasons I couldn't stand the wheels. I did use these wheels on it, and I didn't like those tires, and I found some other tires that were in my stash, but they were constantly falling off, and they stuck out. But when it came to this kit, it's actually, you can build it one of 2 ways, stock and custom. There's a lot of parts in here, but you really only use half of them either way you do it. But as this is here, you got the 5-passenger 4-door convertible, the Phaeton, also called Touring sometimes. And this has the stock flathead V8 and the 427 engine in it, with the 3-speed manual, stock wheels, and Craig Aerotech wheels, which those are pure 80s design. You don't see those anymore. And a lot of options, the chop top, the windshield, and all of that stuff. 9-inch Ford bucket seats. I mean, over 130 parts, but I mean, you really only use like half of them when it comes to building it. And then like this one's completely sealed. It's from 1989. That's how old these kits are, and kind of odd as far as what's chromed and what's not. I haven't opened this, and maybe I should open it and kind of go through it again, but I think my next build, I kind of want to do it stock, as these kind of intrigue me, and I think that's one of the reasons why this one survived where many others didn't, because it was definitely different, and it was a wagon but with a chop top, and you really didn't see kits like this. This talks more about it, and you know, I could probably talk more about the Phaetons themselves, and I could blow the whole video just opening this kit and reminiscing on it. So yeah, I might do that at another time, but we'll set that aside here, and then pull out my build here, and let's zoom in a little bit more on it. All right, so when it comes to this, obviously it's a 32 Ford, and I did a number of things. I was trying to really clean it up and smooth it out, as that was what was really popular at the time, with hardly any chrome, no front bumper. Sanded all the detail off of the entire side there, so there's no door handles, no hinges. I mean, I literally just sanded everything off the body, really rounded it out, and I like the way it came out. And same thing with the hood, just sanded everything off of the hood. I mean, you can kind of still see the mold line there. I didn't do the greatest job, and you know, the impressions there from the vents that were on there that I had sanded off, you can still kind of see them. You know, I didn't do the greatest job, but this was a very old build from when this kit was new in '89, which puts me, I think, freshman year of high school for me, right around there. And another thing, this thing is pretty much all spray painted, which I know I had an airbrush about then, but I was trying to do a particular paint job, trying to emulate an actual candy apple red. So while this was spray painted silver, so you can see the chrome silver paint job, I painted almost all of it like that. The entire fenders, the body, the radiator, the headlights. Well, the headlights I did a little bit differently. Spray painted all of it silver. Then I sprayed it, a red on it that was kind of transparent metallic red. And I sprayed that all over it. Smoothed it all out. Notice there are no taillights. And I even did a smoke on the back window here to give it a tint there. So even if you look through it that way, you can kind of see it is a little bit tinted. It was some sort of tester's spray tint, I remember it. And it didn't work very well. So this one's the only one that got it. You can see the mold lines. The entire inside was painted white, although it's brush painted in there and not very well. The top of it is spray painted. This is glued on. At one time it came off, but it always fell off. And then I ended up gluing it on so that it wouldn't fall off. And it's been off a couple of times, so it's glued on pretty good now. And you can see the more modern wheels I added, but I didn't lower it anymore. So these wheels, I don't even know where I got them, but at least they stick under the fenders instead of sticking out, because the other wheels I had on it, they actually stuck out past the fenders. It looked kind of ridiculous, but that's what it was. And there's that big 427 engine, according to the instructions, but it's very bland, and that's pretty much an FE motor right there. I don't have the distributor, it's missing, or I never used it. But kind of interesting that the air cleaner is not chrome, so I painted it. And then I don't know why I did a black filter. Usually I do white, but I did black filter. And then the chrome valve covers, but nothing else is chrome. No headers, kind of like the stock log manifolds, which make me think it's more like a 390 and not a 427 or 428. But no heater hoses. Matter of fact, I think this radiator shroud is really loose. Yeah, I'll have to glue that back on. But so yep, that's finished that off. And then, well, and I knocked an exhaust off, which I completely brush painted. So here you go. Here's some flat out brush painted. So a lot of the underside is all brush painted. It's falling apart on us right here. The Ford 9-inch, all the custom parts, and the silver paint there. So I got a few more parts now to glue back on. But I just always kind of enjoyed it. The entire interior is just the tuck. It's right from the kit. It's just all spray painted white. I didn't even detail the gauges. So you look in there, there's just white. I didn't really do much of anything in there. But when it came to these, I left that chrome and I brush painted the red on it, so it's kind of got a little bit of a finish. Doesn't quite match the fenders as much. And you can see it really doesn't have a sheen, not like I have today. But and I didn't even paint the running boards. I left them there. They should be black, but the rubber that goes on there. But I just painted right over them. Just kind of left it. But she's held up pretty well. So I got a couple more parts to glue on there, but it all fits. So here we go. Shove that in there. And the stance is more, as far as how today's go. I don't even know where I got those wheels from. They might be Pegasus Hobbies. They may or may not be. I've got a new set. They look just like them, but they're a lot bigger. So it's not this actual set. So you compare the two. So they might have been some from another kit, but there's no brake detail or anything. And they're just as wide as these, but not as tall. So they may be a Pegasus Hobby set or not. I'm not really sure. But don't really remember where they came from. And I don't know why. If you've noticed, I've shown a few of my street rods. I think I've got 5 or 6 done. I've got another 32 Ford monogram one that's very old. Also, I'll show that another time, but hopefully it doesn't fall apart while I'm displaying it like this one. But I don't know, it seems like I've got like 5 street rods. 3 of them are red. So, and I've got many more to build, but this was really before Revell came out with those really nice 32 street rods. Well, now back in the day, but they're very nice kits. And I got a number of those, and I featured one already. But this one, Revell doesn't have this body style, the Phaeton there, which is the the 4-door convertible with no side windows, which made for quite an interesting car. And And I've read that you don't want to ride in the back seat of this thing because the wind just beats you up back there. And that's why some of them would have a dual cowl Phaeton. They'd put the extra windshield back there, which would deflect the air from the rear passengers. But if you were in the back seat on this thing, the wind just beat you up back there. Plus, it wasn't the most comfortable thing to ride. And another thing I read, that these bodies were very flimsy and flexed a lot. So if you rested your arm on the door area here or whatnot, or even in the back when it was bumping and flexing, the body could pinch you. And they were kind of known for doing that. But still, they make for an awesome looking street rod. I just love the literally convertible bathtub look. I just like the way they look, even though in real life they're extremely rare. I figured that's enough on this one, but appreciate it, and let me reminisce about some of my old builds here. It's kind of fun to take them out, show them off. Like some of them, I've had them so long, I hardly ever touch them or even think about them. So it's a lot of fun for me to take these out, show them to you, even though it may not be my best work. I could do better now. But it's not always about being the best or doing the best or stressing out about being, making the best model you can. Just kind of enjoy them. And that's what I've done. Just really enjoyed them. Some have survived, some have not. But the memories that come along with building them, all of that stuff, which that's what I really like. And that's what kind of tempts me to, when I run into another one, to buy another kit and do it all over again. And that's kind of how some of these get this way, and I know many of you are the same way. You reminisce about an old kit that you built, even though this is definitely not one of my favorites. It's just one that just has some history, and I've had it a very long time, and I enjoyed it. And it's not the greatest work I've done, but I'm surprised this lasted this long, and it's just a fond memory for me. And yeah, it does show my skill level growing and whatnot, but it's not always about that. It's just about having fun and maybe the journey and reminiscing about where you've been and some of the things you've done. And that's enough rambling on about this. So thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all of that stuff, and all of your likes. I really appreciate it. You guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday.